Hey y'all, so I am back as promised. I am like a day or so late, but give me grace. With the next video for menopause. And I thought that I would be able to get everything into this video, but I don't want to rush it. And I do want to solely talk about sex and menopause as the third video in and of itself, okay? Because it's a lot that goes on with that physical, emotional, it's a lot that goes on with that. So I want to kind of discuss that by itself because I know a lot of y'all are wanting to kind of figure out how to navigate that space at this time in your life. But we're going to pick up kind of where we left off. If I do a little bit of repeating, forgive me, because I didn't get a chance to rewatch the video to kind of see where we picked off. But I remember I was going in on hypertension because that's one of my jams. Now, I want to talk to y'all a little bit about that, and I want you to have some patience with it. This is a part that I get truly pissed off with providers, family care providers. I get pissed the hell off, like really. So the reason I say that, hypertension. I know a lot of y'all were talking about, high blood pressure and, I don't want to be on high blood pressure medication, and I'm doing everything I can to get off of this high blood pressure medication. And listen, I'm not trying to stop anybody's flow as far as that's concerned, but I do want to give you the actual medicine behind it, right? The science behind it. Let's talk about that a little bit. So, first of all, I need you guys to understand, because let's keep it 100. They put shitty doctors in the middle of black neighborhoods. And I think that a lot of times the way we are educated in medicine is very biased, right? It's very biased. I'm going to just put it out there. And I think that if you don't understand the culture, you don't understand our people, you potentiate. Anyway, you further that bias. And let's get some truths out. Okay, first and foremost, high blood pressure is not 100% a consequence of bad behavior on your part. Let me just say that it is not. High blood pressure is a couple of different things. It is, first and foremost, it is genetic. If your mama had high blood pressure or your daddy has high blood pressure, the chances that you are going to have high blood pressure are pretty darn high. Okay, so now what you do is, when you have bad lifestyle choices, you have bad dietary choices, you don't exercise, you bring on the high blood pressure faster. And when you don't address the issues, it gets worse. But I don't want people to believe that bad behavior got you to a place, so therefore good behavior is going to get you out of that place. What does that mean? Have you guys noticed that there is a dialysis clinic on every corner in the hood? You can't walk through one hood, you can't go through one hood and you don't see a dialysis clinic. Because let me help you understand, for every day your blood pressure is out of control, you are killing your kidneys. So why is that? That is because 100 doctors came into the room and said, you need to stop eating pork. You need to stop eating salt. You need to change your diet. You need to So what is our logic? If I make these changes, if I create these changes, then I'll go back to having normal blood pressure. That's not true. Okay, first and foremost. Next, we're so distrusting of the medical community, because we should be. We have every reason to be. And then we have a lot of black doctors who have the Snoop Dogg syndrome. Period. So we kind of get to a place where it's like, who's really working on my behalf? Well, let me work on my own behalf. So then we go to the herbal store, which, again, judge not. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Let me help you put it in perspective. Because yes, I am all about healthy. I am all about as holistic as we can get when we can get there. The first thing I want to deal with when it comes to herbal medicine, y'all want to act like these herbs are like, okay, it's not magic. You are not in the middle of the village in Ecuador, okay, where y'all are pulling stuff off the trees, grinding it up, making teas, making soups. That's not where you are. You're in the middle of Atlanta, where these herbs have traveled on tractor trailers for days. You don't know where they come from. You don't know how they were formulated. You don't know if they were formulated in the same damn lab that your blood pressure medicine was formulated in. You just don't know. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to take herbs. Ouch. We want to take herbs, but we still want to eat crazy. We still want to drink crazy. We still don't want to be active. We still want to burn fabuloso on our stove. We still want to put all types of plugins in our house. We want to do all the things, but we want to take these herbs and then say, and I'm not going to take my blood pressure medicine because these people trying to kill me. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. So here is how I counsel on blood pressure medications, and not just blood pressure medications, I'm sorry. Here's how I counsel on herbal medicine. Herbal medicine in this day and age, in the environment in which we live, they are supplements. It is for prevention, and it is for supplementation. What does that mean? So let's say you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure. Here's my recommendations to my patients always. Yes, we need to make some changes. Let's decrease your weight because it's going to help with blood pressure. Let us change your diet because at the end of the day, you need a healthier diet anyway. Let's make those changes. Let's increase your water. Let's increase your activity because walking decreases your salt intake. It decreases your blood pressure. It decreases your blood sugar. It decreases your anxiety. It increases your happy hormone, which is your serotonin. It increases and decreases all the right things. So let's start walking more than anything. Okay. So, yes, I'm going to make those changes. I'm going to encourage those changes. But am I going to encourage you to take your medication? Yes, because we got to protect those kidneys. We got to keep those numbers lower while we're making these changes to protect the kidneys. So please, for the love of Jesus, take the blood pressure medicine. Now, you're like, well, I want to do an herbal supplementation. Let's do that herbal supplementation. Let's do that. Let's go. I'm not sure which one it is for blood pressure. I think it might be like red yeast rice. I'm not sure which one it is. Do not quote me. Don't go to them people's store asking for what I'm telling you to ask for because I don't know. Talk to the herbalist, but you can take it. Take it. Now, if we're making those changes, we're making the lifestyle changes, we're taking the herbs and we're taking our blood pressure medicine. If we see the blood pressure start to drop, your blood pressure is going to drop anyway because you're on the medicine. People be like, well, it was normal, so I didn't keep taking it. Why you think it was normal? Because you were taking it. Now, if you notice that, okay, this pressure is really starting to drop a little bit, then that's when you talk to your provider to say, listen, I've made some changes. I'm taking some supplementation and my pressure is a little bit low. I'm concerned about the dose. Then they can drop your dose, okay? And you start working with your doctor in a way to drop your dose. Maybe, it's getting too low. If it's on the lowest dose and you're taking it every day, maybe they can take it down to every other day. Either way, let's say you get off, for whatever reason, that's your goal. Your goal should be to protect your kidneys and your heart, not to get off of medication. If the medication is what's going to protect you, then take it. But if that's your goal, for whatever reason, you don't like the stigma of taking medicine every day, that's your choice. But if the goal is to get off the medication, then if you do that, you still got to check your blood pressure every day. Because if we notice that those numbers are creeping up again, maybe we had some stress. Maybe traffic is crazy, because stress doesn't give you high blood pressure. It just worsens your high blood pressure. So when people come in, oh, I know my pressure's high because I had that doesn't change my mind any, because my attitude is stress does not give you high blood pressure. It worsens your high blood pressure. So you already had high blood pressure, just the stress or the caffeine or the traffic or getting past the front desk paying your bill, all that stuff, it just worsens your high blood pressure. It didn't give it to you. You get what I'm saying? I hope that's clear. So please don't be stigmatized into cheating yourself out of good health, and then you come in like, oh no, I lost 20 pounds. My pressure is better than it used to be. Ma'am, your pressure is 170 over 110. You are in stroke range. So it may be better than it used to be, but it is not safe. Let's be clear. So our goal is to stay safe and to stay out of these places. And yes, we do start to see these increases during that menopausal age range, because what do? We start to increase our weight and all the things, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about weight. And because again, people are jumping on this menopause train and they are selling you or trying to sell you all kinds of craziness, right? And we don't want that. We want you to do what's appropriate. And after we talk about the weight a little bit, I'm going to talk about natural interventions before we talk about the medical interventions. So when it comes to weight, the way you lose weight, and this is what, and I really got to stop calling my program weight management program, because I feel like it's metabolism management that I do. Yes, I am board certified in obesity medicine. Now people are like, why are you obese? Because I know what to do. I just ain't say I damn do it. Don't judge me. We listen here. We don't judge. Okay? No, but seriously, again, weight is, genetics are a huge part of that. My mom's side of the family is probably about 5 feet, 125 pounds. My dad's side of the family is about 6 feet, 300 pounds, women and men. Okay? 6'2", 6'3", Amazons, right? So I'm kind of split in the middle, and if I didn't do the things that I do and care for myself the way that I do, I probably would be about 5'5", 300, easy. What I have learned, and like I said, I thought it was very, very prudent. And let me tell y'all how I got onto this obesity management thing. It was not the shot. It was not any of those things. I had never gone to Essence before I did go to Essence. I went to Essence to speak on a panel, I want to say about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was in the convention center, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these beautiful black women and, you know, these black businesses. And it was not what I thought. I always thought, it's going to be some janky foolishness. I just don't want to go. I don't want to be a part of that. But it was actually a beautiful thing. Much to my surprise. I ain't gonna lie. I hate to say it, but it was much to my surprise. Because, you know, sometimes, but anyway, and I was looking around, and I'm looking, and I'm just looking. And again, I'm not skinny myself, but I'm not in denial either. And I'm looking at all these black women, and if I see 10 black women, only 1 or 2 are normal weight. And I'm not saying skinny, I'm saying normal weight. And I'm looking at the next 10 and the next 10. And I'm like, what is happening here? Like, what is happening here? And I came back and I started looking up some numbers, and it said that 82% of African Americans are technically overweight or obese. And that's crazy, because so many diseases come with obesity: cancer, stroke, heart attack, autoimmune disorders, like all the things, death in childbirth, pregnancy complications. So much comes with obesity, like craziness. For my postmenopausal women, or perimenopausal women with menopausal syndrome, okay, the risk of breast cancer skyrockets because of that obesity. And I was like, this is crazy. A lot of what's happening in our community, a lot of what's happening to us is due to obesity. And nobody's telling us, like, you know, it's not about your outfit that you wear to Tulum. It's not about losing weight for your birthday. It's not about those things. It's about saving your life. Literally, not figuratively, literally. And so when it comes to obesity, here's the formula, and I'm gonna give it away for free. And I tried to hook up with a weight loss expert or a fitness expert or whatever she want to call herself, to basically say, hey, I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to give you the blueprint. You're able to reach out to a lot of people. So I will give and teach you the blueprint, and you reach out to the masses. I don't care what you make off of it. Yes, my whole situation is copyrighted, but let me give it to you, and then you reach out to the masses and let's work. And that person wasn't interested in that, which really drives me, because a lot of these trainers, they're not educated on metabolism. They're not educated on anatomy, physiology, or just in general. What you'll hear from trainers is build the muscle to burn the fat. That's not in the literature anywhere, and I'll give anybody money who can find it. It's not. You'll look at the Olympic weightlifters, they're fat. But if you build the muscle to burn the fat, why are they fat? I'm talking double chin, triple chin. I'm talking stomach out to here. Why? It's not true. I want to get away this cellulite. I want to tone. Resistance tones you, not weight training. Weight training makes you strong. That's what it does. It makes you strong. Now, when we look at menopause and menopausal syndrome, and once we get over a certain age, if your BMI is greater than 36, if your abdominal circumference is greater than 35, and you are a woman, you are insulin resistant. Did you hear that? Let me say it again. If your BMI is greater than 36 and your abdominal circumference, meaning you take a tape measure and come from belly button to belly button all the way around, and we're talking inches. If it's more than 36 inches, you are insulin resistant, one or the other or both. And add some other medical problems in there, now you got metabolic syndrome. Okay, but if you are insulin resistant, you cannot weight train. If you weight train more than 10 pounds, you will gain weight. Yeah, I said it. So for all of y'all who are going to the gym, y'all got these trainers, y'all are weight training, y'all are lifting, y'all are doing heavy lifting and can't figure out why you're not losing weight and the scale ain't budging. That's why. That is why you're triggering the testosterone in your body. You're triggering the big back behavior. That is why. Sorry. Now you and your trainer arguing, your trainer telling you you're cheating with the diet, because of course they don't understand anything about metabolism. And so God knows they don't know how to train you. All they know how to do is do to you what they did to get a strong and muscular body, which does anybody really want that? But a strong and muscular body, they don't understand that different people, it's not about your blood type, it's about your metabolism. So different people are going to need to be trained in different ways. They're training the whole class the same way. No, it has to be a special training for people who are insulin resistant. And that special training also goes for my PCOS patients. So at the end of the day, it's a different way that it has to be done. So I get that you all are trying to go to the gym and do things the right way, but you have to get guidance. You have to be understood. This menopause thing is deep, and it runs deep, and it affects every system. And people think that your hormones control your metabolism. It's actually just the opposite. Your metabolism controls your hormones. Bam. Okay, so with that being said, it's not about looking a certain way. It's really about getting healthy. And if you're not doing it the right way, you're working against yourself versus for yourself. Okay, so with that being said, again, I'm going to try and work with some some trainers or whatever, do a class for them, do a workshop for them, maybe do an online workshop for you guys so that you can get it, so that you're working to your own benefit and not to your detriment. Okay, so there's that. But again, check to see if you're insulin resistant. And if you're insulin resistant, come off them weight machines at the gym, baby. Come off them weight machines, all right? Cardio resistance and HIIT. Resistance 2 days a week to decrease your risk of heart disease, okay? For every 1 point you drop your BMI, you drop your risk of going into AFib by 4%. So people are like, oh, I only lost 5 pounds this month, doc. I'm okay with that 5 pounds, because for every 1 pound you lose, 4 pounds comes off of each knee. So for that 5 pound you lost, 20 pounds came off of each knee, 40 pounds came off of your hips. That's major when we talk about joint replacements, knee replacements, inflammation. For that 5 pounds you lost, great. You just changed your health profile, okay? Getting in there, doing resistance. Resistance is what's going to tone your body. It is what's going to take that skin and clamp that and tighten that skin. Collagen peptides, put that in your water. Put that in all those things. There's no quick fix, or there's no anything to that. But why would you want a quick fix? Because the quick fix is not going to make you healthy. It's not going to keep you healthy. This is a process. It's a lifelong thing that you have to kind of guide yourself and say, okay, when I was in my 20s, I could eat the wings and Yeah, well, you've been doing that for 50 years now. Not 50 technically, maybe 30. You've been doing it for 30, 35 years now. Your body tired. It ain't gonna keep breaking down the food the way it used to. It ain't gonna keep, accepting the abuse the way it's used to. So now you have to start doing things differently if you want that longevity, if you wanna look good, if you wanna feel good, okay? So there's that. Now let's talk about some natural interventions, because, girls, let me tell you, people think that they're going to offend. Maybe they do offend some doctors, but they don't offend me when they come in and they want a natural way to do it, or they want a more holistic way to do it. Here are all my recommendations when it comes to that. As far as herbs are concerned, I'm all for it. Like I said, please go and see an actual herbalist, okay? You can call these herbal stores and say, do you have an herbalist? Do you have a certified herbalist? A lot of times when it comes to menopausal symptoms, and we talked about all those symptoms already, people don't want, even when it's bioidentical hormone replacement, which is all natural hormone replacement, which I will talk about next, a lot of people don't even want that. They're like, I don't want anything. I had breast cancer in the past. I know that one of the hormones that y'all give it doesn't increase my risk, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. It has to be something else. And yes, so oftentimes there are teas. There is, if you're in Atlanta, there's a tea store. I don't even know if it's still there, but it's at Butner Road in Camp Creek. And it's a tea store up there, and they literally sell different teas for different menopausal things. So they sell like a tea if you're trying to get your Stella, you're trying to get your freak on to help with your libido. There's a tea for hot flashes. And I think they even try to do a tea for weight. Noir Bud on Instagram, they are Noir, Noire, Bud, B-U-D, and both of them are Black owned. Noir Bud, she's the GOAT. I love her to death. She has such good energy. She's my birthday twin. I've spoken to her a few times. She's an influencer, but doesn't really have that like influencer, I'm all that type of, no, and I love her products. So she has a tea. It's like a relaxing tea. And it's one of those, I come home, I've had a rough day, rather than pop a pill or, you know, take a couple of Benadryls, or which nothing is wrong with, all the things. This tea, you can steep it twice if you need it to be super strong. It's not going to keep you up. It's like lavender, chamomile, and CBD, which I highly suggest. The CBD component of things, love it, love it, love it. And it's I 10 out of 10 recommend. The teas over at Button Road, 10 out of 10 recommend. Now, you ain't fitting to have one cup and then be like, all right, I'm ready to go upstairs and bust down. No, it's a process. You have to get these things in your system. You have to do it repetitively. Again, make it a lifestyle. It's going to take a little bit longer than other treatments. But if this is what you decide that you want to do, yes, it's out there. Also, she has a body salve, which I think is really, really cool. So it's like a salve, you know, it's like a oil or like a grease, and you put it on your body. It's for hydration. It helps with dry skin, but it also is infused with CBD. So I tell people sometimes, baby, when you walk into these offices, you walk into some environments, you go into some people's houses, honey, you better put that oil on, you better put that salve on, and cover yourself with the armor, like the armor of God, honey, because some people will try to get at you up here and in here, and you got to control this right here. So I love that you know, you can put it on, put that thing on your feet, you know, get the hard skin together, all that, the crocodile skin, all that, and still be kind of treating and keeping your calm. So I love that. Again, it's Noire, Noire, Bud, B-U-D, on Instagram. Love her, love her, love her. Follow her her stuff. She's always sold out. So put your emails on there for notifications, get a subscription, all the things, okay? Hit her up like, when you gonna be restocked? And tell her I sent you, because that's my girl. Actually, I'm hoping to do an event. Her and I are going to get together and talk about, you know, menopause and, you know, how CBD can help and all the things. And it'll be for the spring. It'll be one of my bust out things, and it'll be in New York. So hopefully her and I can put that together for you guys, but it's on the agenda to do. Now, other natural things that we want to do. When I think about natural, I think about, when I think natural, I think health, right? People think natural and they got 15,000 supplements on their counter, and they just came from American Deli and un-Chick-fil-A, and I call it un-Chick-fil-A because I personally don't believe it's chicken, but that's my personal perspective. Anyway, so at the end of the day, a couple of things that I'll tell you: please start cooking, guys. Please start cooking, okay? If you can't cook, take this as an opportunity to learn. Like, these these platforms have all types of recipes, all types of stuff. Take the time to learn to cook. Go to your local farmer's market, because you know they got cloned meat on the shelves. And for all of y'all who are like, oh no, I go to Whole Foods, baby. Y'all saw the thing, the expose about all the organic stuff at Whole Foods. If you look on it, it says made in China. So come on out of there. Come on out of there, because yeah, it ain't no more organic than the stuff at, you know, all the foolishness stores. So come on out of there. Start cooking your foods. Go to local farmers markets for your vegetables. Make sure you're cleaning your vegetables well to get the pesticides and all of those things off. See if you can, there are local farms and stuff where you can buy your eggs. And different things like that. Just try and buy your food from as best sources as possible. And if you're on a fixed income or whatever, these stores usually will take EBT or SNAP or whatever it's called in your community, food stamps basically. They take that stuff. So if you're on a budget, you can still eat well. Like, don't think you can't cook. Meal prep, like I'm not a leftovers girl. I don't like leftovers. The only leftovers that I will eat is spaghetti. And turkey wings. But I'm not a leftovers kind of girl. So when I'm now that I have a little bit more time, and meal prepping is a thing. You can meal prep multiple different meals. You can be doing your salmon, your rotisserie chicken. You don't want to do a whole rotisserie chicken. Now I get my meats from a halal market, Medina Halal in Atlanta. Shout out to them. Again, anybody who I big up on here, I ain't get money from nobody. So don't think I have any paid promotions, partnerships. I don't. I'm getting not a check from nobody. I'm telling you what's healthy for you. I'm telling you what I do. I get my meats from Medina Halal. You can go to your local halal or kosher butcher to be sure you're actually getting meat, real meat. If you're not a meat eater, great, wonderful for you. Make sure you're cleaning your vegetables. If you're a pescatarian, you're doing seafood, make sure you're getting fresh seafood. Go to your local stores, not, you know, frozen meat. You can go and get fish. They'll clean them, scale them, do all the things. You put it in your freezer, and, you know, just make sure you're putting things in your body. A friend of mine, Dr. April Spencer, and she's a breast surgeon specialist. She was on a previous podcast. She said something that even checked my spirit. She said, when you open your mouth, you're either feeding disease or fighting disease. And I was like, damn, like it puts it into perspective in the space of now when you open your mouth, you think about what you're doing. And that's sort of space that I want you guys in, especially when it comes to weight. Like you're either feeding disease or fighting disease. Are you causing inflammation? All these, oh no, I went to Ruth Chris. Let me tell you something. All of them get their food from the same source. So what is it? US Foods, Cisco, all of it. It's all processed, all of it. The same people that Outback get their food from is the same people that Ruth Chris get their food from. The food is the same. It's no better quality. Now, maybe a better chef preparing it, but there's no better quality. They ain't got Pookie. Well, no, they do be having Pookie in the kitchen at Ruth Chris. But the point is that, you know, it's a different chef, but it's the same quality of food. Pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Decrease the inflammation in your body, because what happens is when you increase inflammation in your body, disease is increased, anxiety is increased, just aches and pains are increased. Your overall sense of well-being is diminished, all right? So guys, please pay attention to what you're putting in your mouth. Make sure you're drinking water, all the things. When I think about natural, that's what I think about. Don't start with supplements, start with lifestyle. Start with what you're eating, start with what you're drinking. Now, even everybody wants their house to smell good. The first thing I'm gonna suggest is clean the hell up. But outside of that, you know, people, what is this, boiling Fabuloso and Mr. Clean and boiling and putting hot water. What you doing? And I'm not coming for Fabuloso and Mr. Clean. I'm coming for the people who are doing it. They're clear on what their product is. It's full of chemicals with fragrance. They're clear. Okay, they ain't never said it was natural. They ain't say it was going to help your health. They never said any of those things. They're clear on what their product is. You're boiling it, putting it into your lungs and all those things, but yet we're natural. No, there's a natural way to do this. Have you guys ever seen this? I think it's like, I used to do it. I just used to hate cleaning the pot, so I stopped doing it. But it's like you slice an orange. You slice, is it apple? No, you slice an orange. cinnamon sticks, vanilla. I think it's something else in there too. But whatever, and you boil it. When I tell you the smell, the absolute smell that encompasses your home. I think it's cloves too. Anyway, look it up. Just put up like winter boil. And I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. Smells amazing. You ain't gotta boil no fabuloso. You could do some vanilla extract and some cinnamon sticks and some oranges, and there's something else in there. I can't remember. Boil that. Boil that. When you guys do candles, make sure it's vegan soy candles. So whatever's emanating in your home is not chemical based. Pay attention to things like that. Even if you are still using pads, use natural cotton sanitary pads. There's Cora, L. All of those are natural cotton. They don't have chlorine in them because the standard stuff that people use for pads and tampons, it has chlorine, the same chlorine that cleans your swimming pool. And then we can't figure out why we have these aches and pains and abnormal this and abnormal that. Anything you put in your vagina, because it's so vascular, goes directly into your bloodstream. Did you know that? So back in the day when people, would try to drink and not get DUIs, women would soak their tampons in like vodka and put them inside of their vaginas. And I'm not, y'all don't do this. Please don't do this. But I'm just saying it's a thing. So anything that goes directly into your vagina, anything that goes into your vagina goes directly into your bloodstream. So please think about that when you're using chemical-filled tampons. Don't do that. So if you're a cup user, I never got the cup, I used to tilt, and it was just very weird for me. But if you're a cup user, rock out with that. If you're a tampon user or a pad user, please get the ones that have no chlorine or raw cotton. Even as far as toilet paper is concerned, they have like bamboo toilet paper now that I think is like free of chemicals and dyes and things like that. Look into it, guys. Pay attention to everything that you do. Try and be as natural as possible, and then we can start with supplements, but use natural things. Like if you're trying to regulate your blood sugar, cinnamon is a beautiful way to do that. So put cinnamon in your coffee. If you're having something sweet, sprinkle cinnamon with it. If you're like, oh, I just want some ice cream, sprinkle a little cinnamon on it. Like just do basic things that are going to help your health, but you have to start learning what those things are. They're not going to be online. They're going to be online, but I hate to say it. People go to TikTok. Well, I don't know about TikTok anymore, but people go to these social media sites. People are trying to sell you stuff, okay? So they're going to forward their whole argument onto how natural and good this is for you, because they want to sell it to you, but it may not actually be true. So stop jumping on the natural bandwagon and start learning some stuff for yourselves. So yes, once you start implementing those things and did y'all know, like when things pop into my mind, I got to say it because I'll forget. Did y'all know that alcohol is the #3 cause of cancer? But did y'all know that they have a zero proof alcohol that's infused with THC? It's called Nowadays, Nowadays. I haven't tasted it yet. I'm going to order some, or either I'm going to see if I can find some at the wine store, whatever, today or tomorrow. But it's called Nowadays. It's zero proof, but it has THC infused. And so we got to start pulling away from those cocktails, thinking it's cute, thinking it's relaxing. It's actually worsening your depression, it's causing inflammation, and it's worsening and it's increasing your chances of developing cancer. Okay, so right, like this is what I'm saying. When you're in the know, you start treating your body better. It'll start feeling better and giving you what you need, okay? So I'm okay with the herbal stuff, but start reading about it. And some herbs actually have herbal this, herbal, I take this, I take this, I take this, and you have no idea of the interactions. Like, don't do that. Don't just be online and getting stuff like it's a candy store because it's an herb. It can't hurt me. That is not true. What do you think actual medicines extends from? They initially extend from herbs. And there are some herbs that will cross with some medications you're on, and baby, you will be in a bad way. And you pop up at the ER and they say, what medications are you taking? When you see medications, you think medications from the pharmacy. You don't think to tell them about your supplements or herbs. So be mindful of that, guys. And make sure you're getting some guidance when you are taking herbs. And teas are herbs too. So make sure you're getting some guidance on what you should or should not be doing, okay? There's that. All right. So hopefully that answers some questions for people. Now let's talk about this medical intervention stuff. Let's talk about medical interventions. Now, I am going to, if you guys know anything about me, I don't give direction. No, let me say that again. I don't give information based on what I think you should do. I give all around information and let you make the decisions that are best for your life. I can tell you my thoughts, I can tell you my feelings, I can tell you what I do and don't do in my practice and for my patients. You have two modalities when it comes to hormone replacement. And hormone replacement was always looked at as like a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. Oh, it's horrible, because about 20 years ago, there was one study done on an 85-year-old. They went in on an 85-year-old woman who had been on hormone replacement, the maximum dose of hormone replacement, for like 20 years, right? And she developed breast cancer. And so CNN took that, ran with that, and was like, oh, hormone replacement causes breast cancer, and it took off. Well, let's talk about the validity of that study. And again, I'm not in defense or I'm not of anything. Let me just educate you. So the study, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was called like the Framingham study or something like that. But basically, it evaluated, first of all, this lady was 85 years old. She was on the maximum dose of hormone replacement for 20 years. That should never, ever, 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 ever happen. When it comes to hormone replacement, the goal is to start slow and go low. And the purpose, what that means is we give you the least amount possible to cure your symptoms. And as you like, nope, I ain't had a hot flash in a year, then the dose should be dropped. And the dose should be consistently dropped until we're done, right? Until you just have no more symptoms and blah, 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 la, 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 la. But this lady, because a lot of times doctors are lazy as hell and disregarding as hell, was on the maximum dose for 20 years. I suspect they probably just kept filling her prescription. And sometimes y'all be like, no, I want what I want. And rather than argue with you all and say, no, that's not best for you, let me explain this to you, it's just like, fine, here, just take it, because ain't nobody got time. But that's not the best thing for you. So as I said, sometimes y'all advocating for yourself, calm down, because you're actually hurting yourself. But nevertheless, let's keep going. And so this study showed that at the age of about 80 or 85, she developed breast cancer. And they decided to correlate the two. Well, one of the number one risk factors of breast cancer is age. And then so she has age on her side. And yes, she was on hormone replacement, but what they saw was, as a woman with breasts, you have a 1 in 8 chance of developing breast cancer, which is about 15%. So they saw that hormone replacement increased that to about 17%, which is statistically insignificant. Now, was CNN correct in saying it increases your risk? It does increase your risk from 15 to 17%. Now, obviously, those numbers, that was years ago. Those numbers are probably much higher now. But the reality of the situation is it made everybody like, oh no, no hormone replacement for me. I don't want cancer, when that really wasn't the situation. But let's talk about the two modalities of hormone replacement. So you have synthetic hormone replacement and you have natural hormone replacement. So you say, well, why would anybody go with natural versus synthetic? Well, for a while, the only thing that was available was synthetic hormone replacement. So what happens is, anything that occurs in nature, anything that occurs naturally in your body or in the environment cannot be patented. It cannot, because it ain't yours. It's natural, right? If you cannot patent something, you cannot own it. If you cannot own it, you cannot make a gazillion dollars off of it, right? So in walks Big Pharma that says, okay, what are we going to do? So Big Pharma grabbed up these hormones and tweaked them. And they tweaked them. Now that they're changed, they're not the same as the natural one, right? So now they can patent it, own it, and then move forward with drugs and all this thing, which is what they did. They had creams, they have patches, they have pills, they have rings, they got all kinds of stuff. And they own them. And people are like, oh, you know, and what they did is they marketed it, made most of it brand name, and it would cost women a lot of money, $150 a month, $200 a month, and still does actually. The problem is that a lot of women couldn't afford it, but the women who could afford it, it was just like, yeah, I can't live like this. I'll pay you what you need me to pay you. Just, I can't live like this, right? And that's how it went for a while. And then you had a smart group of healthcare providers that said, okay, if women are going to be afraid that this is going to cause cancer, if we're going to lose a lot of women getting care because they feel like they're going to be susceptible to cancer, we can do it the natural. We can use the actual natural hormone. We can't own it. We can't patent it. We can't make millions of dollars off of it. But if you stop and think, whether you have 10 dimes or 4 quarters, a dollar is a dollar. So what they said is, we're going to pull in millions of women and only make a little bit, but it's off of millions of women. You're going to pull in hundreds of thousands of women and make a whole lot. We may actually make more than you, and then we're not going to cause these women a health risk. And so the bioidentical, or natural, was formed. And I say natural with hashtag because I'll tell you in a minute. Is what I do for my patients, is what I'm on myself. And I co-sign it. And it was years before I started doing it, and I'll tell you why. So the science behind bioidentical hormones is, it says, okay, what we will do, and we know that when you're younger, you're in the best health. And people assume that when you're younger, you're in best health because you're young, right? You have a young body, but how is that logic true when you have some older people who are in great health and you have some younger people who are in poor health? And so what we learned and understand is, it is the hormones. Your hormones are highest. They're optimized when you're younger, and they drop as time goes, just like your health drops. So we started to correlate. It is the decrease or the drop in the hormone levels that correlate to health, right? So what ended up happening was, this smart group of providers said, what we will do is we will replace what your body is missing. And what makes it natural versus hormonal, or natural versus synthetic, is that what is replaced is exactly what your body already makes. Estradiol sometimes, and we'll get into that, which is the same estrogen your body makes. It's not levo nor gesterone. It's not estradiol, eto, it's not all those crazy estrogens. It is estradiol. That is the one that your body makes. That is the one that is replaced. It is testosterone. Yes, women, we start to decrease our testosterone. And yes, we make testosterone in the human body. Everything, all female hormones, all hormones start out with testosterone. And I guess it's from Adam came Eve. I don't know. I'm not willing to debate the point. I have no idea. But we all start out with male hormone. It's like you walk over a bridge and it gets converted to female hormone, which is estrogen. Okay. And again, that's why sometimes that if you're insulin resistant and you have a lot of insulin, it will close off that bridge. So your testosterone can't convert to estrogen. And that's when you get all those manly symptoms. You know, the hair growth, the acne, the thinning of your hair, the dry scalp, the oily skin, the broad back, the big square midsection, all of that. So anyway, I digress. The point is so yes, testosterone, and that's actually the leading replacement. If you're still having periods, if you're still having irregular periods, even if you are stopped having periods and it's only been stopped for like a year or two, 9 times out of 10, most of what's really only going to be supplemented with you is testosterone. It takes a while before we even start to replace the estradiol in your body. Interesting, right? And then estrogen and progesterone are like on a seesaw. So the estrogen kind of, so anyway, they're on a seesaw. And the progesterone helps with brain fog. It helps with getting a nice rest. It helps with those things. And so it kind of like settles you and calms you. The progesterone is oral though. We see that the intake or the uptake of the progesterone is better oral. So when I see, these patches and pills and creams, and the patches and creams and rings and all that, and they have progesterone in it, that's not a good uptake. You know, as far as the creams are concerned, if I happen to have more meat on my bones than you have on your bones, even if we're taking the same amount, you're going to get a different dose than I'm going to get. So it's not kind of centralized. So As far as the bioidentical hormones, the way they work is, it's like, tell me about yourself. When's the last time you had a period? What's your activity level? What's your BMI? Have you had a hysterectomy? Have you had PCOS in the past? Are you a pain patient? Like, all of the things that could alter your metabolism, alter your female organs, we ask about. And then we draw blood. And then we look at your hormone levels. And I wish I was the person coming up with this technology, honey. I'm not. I'm smart, but I ain't that smart. And there's a computer program that I use. And I put all this information into the computer program. And then I put your hormone levels in it, and it spits out. And it says, bam, this is what she needs. And if you need estrogen, great. If not, it's just testosterone. You can say, what are the side effects? Well, we're giving you what your body already has. Am I going to have an allergic reaction? It's already in your body. Like, it's what you already have. Like, that's just like saying, like, I don't even know like what that's like saying, but it's already what's in your body. I'm not introducing anything foreign. It is what's in your body already. And how does it work? So, we put an incision in your butt cheek, not your booty hole. Your butt cheek, and the incision is literally, the incision is like minuscule. Like, it's like, I can't even, like, it's so small. Like, the incision is super small. And then there's a trocar. It's not even as big as this. It's like way smaller than this. It's like a coffee stir. And I twist it into that incision. I pull the stopper out, and I put pellets in there, hormone pellets. And, you know, they all look different depending on what your dose is, but it's like smaller than a piece of rice. Excuse me, it's bigger than a piece of rice, smaller than a Tic Tac, but it's the consistency of like chalk. And I twist that, I pull the stopper out, I drop those little pellets in, I put the stopper back in, I pull everything out, put some skin tape on there. I do my compression real ugly because I want you to really be compressed. So I put some gauze and some tape on that thing. And the outside dressing comes off at about 9 o'clock the evening of the thingy. The inside little skin tapes, they come off after about a week. We say you can't do any gym, no aggressive anything. We want your incision to close up before you squat and lunge in, doing any of those things, compressing those butt muscles, and doing all of those things for about a week, okay? But it doesn't hurt. You don't need pain medicine. We numb you up. Now, the numbing part kind of sting and burn sometimes, but I put a little rumple pump on it, put a little solution together. Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes people are like, I didn't feel a thing. Sometimes people are like, ooh, that was tough. But the numbing part is the hardest part of it all. And once you're numb, you don't feel anything. It takes me 5 minutes to get it in. If 5 minutes, depending. You know, sometimes it's 2 or 3, sometimes it's 4 or 5. And that's pretty much it. It feels sore. Once the numbing wears off, it's kind of like, let's say you were to bump your butt into like the corner of a table, and you're like, ouch, but you keep it moving. And then maybe later on at night, you're like, oh, why my butt sore? And you're like, oh, I did bump into that thing. And maybe 2 days later, you're like, my butt, and you're like, oh, I did bump into that thing. It's that kind of thing. But it doesn't require pain medicine. It doesn't require any of the above. And so normally about a month after, and you only get this done about 2 or 3 times a year. You heard me? 2 or 3 times a year. How do you determine what's going to be 2 or 3 times? You determine that by your symptoms, and we'll get into that. So about a month after, you come back to me just for blood. And I always ask for a follow-up for my patients, like, how you doing? How's this month? How are your symptoms? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I listen to what they tell me. And then when I get the blood back, I go back into the computer, and it says, this is where we started. This is how much hormone we gave her. This is where we are now. And the computer will spit out, boom, she's not optimized, she needs more. Or boom, she's good where she are. But it takes into account your experience. So if you're like, y'all said it was going to be a 10 out of 10. It's about a 6 out of 10. It'll say, is she still having symptoms? It'll ask me. And based on that, it'll say, no, give her some more. So it's very personalized to you, your experience, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, the whole 9 yards, okay? People like testosterone. I'm gonna get hair growth. No, understand. It is bioidentical. I am giving you what your body tells me that you need. So when you get all excess this and excess this and excess that, it is because you're getting excessive hormone. You're not getting what your body needs. You're getting what you want to give it. So that's a strong and immediate no. So let's just be very clear. I haven't had any symptoms, any issues. Y'all see, I'm not bald. I'm not balding. You know, we all have a little whiskers, you know, every now and again. You know, I'm just a hairy person, so I gotta take care of my little mustache. But I ain't got no full beard, nothing like that. I don't have anything where I gotta take the razor and no. You know, the tweezer, gets me a little tweeze on every now and again, don't we all? But no, do I look like a man? Do I look like I'm turning into a man? No. So at the end of the day, please be very clear that the company that I use, because one of the companies, and I ain't gonna say it because I don't work with that company, one of the companies, I use them. This is why it took me so long to do it, because I don't do anything for you guys, my patients, or any of the above that, one, I'm not sure works, and two, that I'm not sure is gonna work for your benefit. So one of my associates, I had to correct myself from saying friends. One of my associates is an OBGYN as well. And so I would get my pellets initially with her company, and I gained like 35 pounds in like 4 or 5 months. And I was like, what the hell? And so I stopped getting the pellets, and I noticed that the weight was starting to come down. I was just like, and so when the company that I use Avexius, and it's Evexias. I use Avexius. They came to me, and I was like, no, because it's gonna make people gain weight. And they were like, no, our pellets are embedded in wild yam root. And if you know anything about wild yam root, it's also an herb that helps with hot flashes. So no, our pellets are embedded in wild yam root. The pellets from the other company are embedded in soy. And if you know anything about soy, it can cause weight gain. It has phytoestrogens, and also can slightly increase your risk of developing cancers. So I was just like, okay. It took me a while to try it. Tried it, loved it. If anything, my weight stayed the same, or it started to make it easier for me to lose weight. Like when I was watching what I was eating, when I was exercising, the weight would just start to fall off like it did before menopause. It's just all the things, let me tell you. So the symptoms, it gives you energy. It takes away your sense of hopelessness, or, you know, your sense of dread or anxiety, that you tend to pick up with menopause. It makes you give people grace. Like, you know how somebody might call you, be like, girl, let me tell you what Sophia did. And you be sitting there like, yeah, cause she like that. No, it make you be like, well, hold on, maybe she's just in a space in her life. Like, what's really, let's figure out what's really happening. So it makes you give people grace. It makes you see the cup as half full versus half empty. It helps you sleep better. Like when you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes and you're like, okay, I'm ready to get up. When it's time to go to sleep, it's time to go to sleep. It slowly helps with brain fog. Cause I am very much that girl, like, what I walk into this room for? And I have to like really repeat my steps in order to figure it out. It helps with that. As far as your libido is concerned, baby, when I tell y'all, like, it takes you from a 50-year-old to like a 23-year-old again. My patients are like, honey, my husband can't keep up. I done had to get me a rose. He want to know what kind of voodoo you working over at the office, because he ain't with it. Somebody else partner was like, listen, we ain't talk about this. And she was like, you said we wasn't doing it enough. And he was like, yeah, but I ain't say 7 times a day. I'm not doing all that. Like, I ain't signed up for all this. You finna get me sick. So I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. Like, it's that thing. In menopause, you notice that you don't get as wet as you used to, and it takes you longer to crank up. So it's like the crank is not there. But it turns it around, honey. You wake up in the morning like, yeah, what we gonna do today? Where's this man? What time do you get off of work? You be wanting to have sex with his man, her man, the FedEx man, the public sub man, everybody out in the Amazon man, everybody out in these streets, honey. You come outside. So just be prepared for that. It is very much a part of it. And your overall well-being, you just feel better overall. Now, insurance generally does not cover it unless you have one of those like HSA accounts, HRA, I don't know what it's called, but the account where you swipe your card, that covers that. Well, you can use it for that. But generally insurance doesn't cover it. But again, it's 2 or 3 times a year, and it's like $400. Now, when I say 2 or 3, you say, well, what makes it 2 versus a 3? Your activity level. The hormones get used up faster based on your cardiac output. So if you're somebody who works out every day, you go for a walk, you go hiking, you doing suicides for fun, like, you know, you just like, and you're that girl, Yeah, you're going to be 3 times a year, because it's usually going to be maybe every 4 months for you, because it's every 4 to 6 months, usually not more frequent than 4. I have a patient who's like every 3.5 months, but I just think she is addicted to the high of it, like, and so when it starts to diminish, she's like, I don't want to feel no low, just give it to me, give it to me. But it's every 4 to 6 months. And if you're one of those people who have like a regular lifestyle, like you may go to the gym once or twice a week, you know, you may go for a walk, then you're going to be every 6 months. How can you tell the difference? The symptoms will kind of start to come back. Like, you'll start to feel a hot flash here and there. You'll start to be like, I don't know if I really want to have sex today. You'll start to feel like that. And that's when it's like, or you'll start to feel like, I'm really tired. When you start to feel like that, it's like, let me go get my pellets. You'll start to know. Males can get them as well. It's funny because women usually get about 150 milligrams of testosterone. Males get like 2,000 milligrams of testosterone. Women, we put yours in your butt cheek. Males, we put them on their lower back. Because there's so many, we ain't trying to put them in your butt. It's too many. So we put them on your lower back. We can space them out a little bit better. And there's no discomfort for males in their lower back. They don't feel that they're there. And so that's how bioidentical hormone replacement goes. It may be for you. It may not be for you. If you are going to do it, please make sure you go on an Avexia. If you're close to Atlanta, come on in. We'd love to see you. We'd love to get you done. Bring your husbands with you. Yes, we give you priority appointments at Atlanta Premier. But if you are not in Atlanta, please go to the Avexia's website and find a certified provider in your area. You know, you have doctors who used to be providers. They figured out, oh, I can go to a compounding pharmacy and get the pellets made. And oh, whatever your original dose was is probably going to be the same. So that's when you come up with those symptoms and that hair growth and that hair thinning, because they're not sticking to the blood work. They're not sticking to the plan. They bootleg and everything. You know, you're getting the same dose year 5 as you got year 1. So we don't want that. I want you to find a certified provider in your area. Again, it's 2 or 3 times a year, even if you're not in the area, but you frequent Atlanta 2 or 3 times a year. Well, come on in. I take care of you. And make sure you get your blood work done where you live. And then that'll pop into my computer system, and I can kind of let you know where we are and what we need to do. Okay? So now we got the natural treatments, the natural interventions, my suggestions on the natural stuff. And as far as sex is concerned, and we're going to talk about sex in the whole next one. That's going to be the whole next video. Sex, marriage, relationships during the syndrome, how to cope, how to deal, how not to, you know, feel. Because I've had women come in the office say, I gave him permission to have a girlfriend because I just can't keep up. We're not doing that, sis. Sis, in 2025, we're not doing that. 2025 and beyond, we're not doing that. Now, if you want him to have a girlfriend because you just over him, that's y'all business at the house. But if it's because of what's happening with the menopausal syndrome, we're not doing that, sis. Okay, so with that in mind, we've gotten all these things addressed. I do want to talk about how to make sex immediately more comfortable, because not only is it that we don't have a desire, and we'll talk about all the things sexual again next video, but not only don't we have the desire, when it's finally like, okay, let me just get this done because I kind of have to, it's like my duty, it hurts. It hurts because you're not wet. And ain't nobody got time for that. And then who wants to do something that you know is going to hurt? Your whole vagina is going to be hurting for like the next 3, 4, 5 days. Anybody got time for that? So there's a lubricant that you can use. I referenced it and mentioned it before. It's called, and I think they had lost their Instagram page. That's why people were having a hard time finding them. But the company is officially Pleasured XO. And it's officially, like the word pleasured, XO. They're on Instagram, and I think they have a web page too, but they're on Instagram. And what the suggestion is Wet Kitty. I think they have other products, but I don't know. Wet Kitty, and they have a white and a clear, and it comes in a dropper. With the Wet Kitty, you put this in a dropper. It's like odorless, colorless, tasteless. It does not cause vaginitis. And it literally feels like vaginal secretions. Your person won't know that it's a lubricant down there. So before you have sex, or if you think the person's coming over, you think you might have sex, or whatever the case may be, you can take 1 or 2 dropperfuls, depend on what you into, depend on what you like, figure it out for yourself. And it does not dry up. It doesn't get sticky. It doesn't get hard. It is going to be the same way you put it on until you wash it off. And so even if you don't have sex that night and you have sex the next morning or whatever the case may be, it's still going to be the same way. So your partner will roll over and be like, oh, she was ready for me. She was waiting for me. So that is something that you can do. Even if you get your pellets, you know, or whatever it is you decide that you're going to do, then, you know, that is, I think, a good option, a viable option. And it makes you feel good. It makes your partner feel good because it makes them feel like, you know, you're really excited about having sex with them. It makes you feel good because now you don't have them looking at you crazy and you don't feel bad about having a vagina that's maybe not up to your own standards as far as wetness is concerned. So definitely it's something to consider. Also, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, I told you full disclosure, there is a medication. It's a new medication out. It is non-hormonal. I don't have any patients on it because most of my patients are on pellets. So I don't have any patients that are on it, but it's out there. It's called Beozah, B-E-O-Z-A-H. And it is a medication. The only thing that it treats is hot flashes, and not even after your first bottle. So I don't know how much it costs. I don't know how they're trying to rope you up in there. I don't know. But after your first, but it only treats hot flashes, night sweats, and different things like that. And it is non-hormonal. So if you fall into a particular bracket where you don't want to do this, you want to do this, you want the tea, and you want the salve, you want to use Noir Bud, you want to go to the tea store, but you don't want all the things, but you're having hot flashes, Beozah may be that thing for you. If you want to just knock everything out all of the rip, then the pellets may be the thing for you. That is that. I hope you guys got something out of this second part 2, menopausal syndrome. And part 3 is really going to be the social, medical, physical, sexual, all the things, and some of the ways that we need to kind of start thinking differently as women sexually, and with respect to our partners, and kind of understanding their perspective in this thing, but not having a pick-me mentality and not feeling like we're doing something wrong to them because this is a natural life occurrence. So we will get into all of that, and it will probably be, this is Monday that I'll be uploading this. So the next one will probably be Thursday in place of my podcast. We won't have a podcast this week because just obviously you guys know what I've been going through and we weren't able to have our recording session. So we'll be putting the menopause part 3 in place of the podcast this week. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys learned something. Love y'all much. Please, you know, when you get these algorithms with YouTube and all these things, they kind of direct what's being seen when. And I want this information, this constructive, correct, accurate information to get to as many people as possible. So please please any comments down below. I try and use those and incorporate those into my next video. And then please share this as many times as you possibly can with as many people as you possibly can so that the word and the information, let's pollinate correct information into our community. Okay, ladies? So it's good to be back. I'll be working my tail off, throwing myself into my work a little bit. And can't wait to dive into all of these topics. And also, like I said, because the next one is the last menopausal video, I do believe, let me know what else you guys want to talk about because I'm here for it. Okay? All right. Have a good one, y'all.